When you first hear about the Apple TV, the initial reaction is often doubt. Why buy a separate streaming device when nearly every TV you see in 2025 already comes with apps built in? Walk into any store and you'll see Samsung, LG, Sony, and TCL televisions lined up with Netflix, YouTube, Disney Plus, and Prime Video ready to use. On the surface, it feels unnecessary to spend extra money on a black box that seems to do the same job. I thought the exact same thing for years. Then I tried one, and that's when I realized that Apple TV isn't competing with smart TVs. It's solving the problems that smart TVs quietly create. At first glance, modern smart TVs look impressive. They ship with 4K or even 8K panels, OLED or QLED displays, and colorful advertisements promising an all-in-one solution. You can install apps, you can browse, you can stream. But spend a few months actually living with them, and the shine starts to wear off. Apps become sluggish. Navigation slows down. Updates either never arrive or introduce more problems than they fix. Suddenly, that smart experience feels clunky. And worse, it doesn't age well. A TV that costs thousands of dollars can feel outdated in just 2 or 3 years because the software can't keep up. That's where Apple TV makes its case. It doesn't look like much, just a compact black box, but the philosophy inside it is different. Apple treats the Apple TV like an iPhone for your living room. It's not powered by generic chips designed to cut costs. It runs on the same type of processors that Apple uses in its iPhones and iPads. That decision alone changes everything. The experience feels fast and stays fast. From the moment you turn it on, the interface is fluid, smooth, and clean. 2 years later, it's still the same. 5 years later, it's still reliable. That is something very few smart TVs can promise. Speed is the first advantage. You notice it when you jump between Netflix, Apple TV Plus, YouTube, and Hulu without the stuttering delay you expect from built-in systems. You notice it when you rewind a movie and it responds instantly, without buffering or crashing. You notice it when your kids open games or apps, and they launch as quickly as they would on an iPhone. This consistency is what makes people fall in love with the Apple TV after trying it. It feels polished in a way that no other TV platform does. Then there's picture quality. The Apple TV doesn't just stream content. It enhances how your TV shows it. With support for 4K, HDR10, Dolby Vision, and Dolby Atmos, the little box unlocks the full potential of your expensive screen and sound system. Your TV might technically support these formats, but the built-in software often struggles to deliver them properly. Apple TV makes it effortless. The colors are richer, the blacks are deeper, the sound fills the room. And if you want accuracy, Apple even lets you calibrate your picture using your iPhone. You hold the phone near the screen, run the test, and in less than a minute your display is tuned like a professional setup. Most people would never attempt that on their own, but Apple turns it into a simple one-step process. And then there is the design of the interface. Smart TVs often bury you under clutter, rows of ads, suggestions you didn't ask for, and menus that feel confusing. Apple TV is the opposite. It mirrors the iPhone experience you already know. Apps are arranged neatly, navigation feels natural, and there are no aggressive advertisements trying to push you toward content you don't want. It's not just about aesthetics. It's about reducing frustration. A TV should be fun to use, not something that gets in your way every time you sit down to relax. A huge part of that usability comes from the Siri remote. At first glance, it seems too simple. Just a slim piece of aluminum with a touch-enabled click pad and a few buttons. But the details are where it shines. The buttons are easy to distinguish without looking. The click pad lets you swipe quickly, but also use circular gestures to scrub through a video with precision. And voice commands make searching effortless. Instead of typing Christopher Nolan movies with arrow keys, you press a button and say it. The integration is smooth. The remote even works with Find My. So when it slips between couch cushions, you don't waste 20 minutes searching, you just ping it from your iPhone. But the real magic of Apple TV is how deeply it connects with the Apple ecosystem. AirPlay lets you beam photos, videos, or music from your iPhone, iPad, or Mac in seconds. Want to share your vacation pictures with friends? No cables, no apps, just tap and they're on a big screen. Want to give a presentation? Mirror your MacBook instantly. And FaceTime becomes a completely different experience when it's on a television. Set your iPhone near the TV, and suddenly video calls feel life-sized, natural, and far more personal. Apple has also quietly made the Apple TV a hub for smart homes. With HomeKit, it doesn't just control entertainment. It controls your lights, your thermostat, your locks, even your cameras. You can be in the middle of a movie and see a notification pop up showing someone at the door. You can talk to them, check the camera, and never pause what you're watching. The TV becomes the center of your connected home, and it does so with security and privacy baked in. On top of this, Apple TV is also a gateway into services. Apple Arcade brings games with controller support directly to the biggest screen in your house. Apple Fitness Plus turns the living room into a workout space, syncing your progress with your Apple Watch. Apple Music transforms your sound system into a concert hall. And the App Store for Apple TV is wide open, offering more than just the basics. From streaming services to niche apps, the platform continues to grow. Now, here's where the story gets interesting in 2025. The price. For years, Apple TV had a reputation of being too expensive, a luxury that only hardcore Apple fans would consider. That argument is harder to make now. The Apple TV 4K starts at $129 for the 64 gigabytes Wi-Fi model. For $149, you get 128 gigabytes and Ethernet support. In a world where smartphones push past $1,000 and new televisions can cost thousands, the Apple TV suddenly feels like a bargain. It's not just affordable. It's one of the longest-lasting devices you can buy for your living room. And longevity is the hidden value here. Think about it. The average smart TV interface feels old in 3 years. Many of them stop getting updates even sooner. Apple TV is still smooth after 5. It still gets software updates. It still runs like new. That means you don't have to buy a new TV just because the software feels outdated. You can extend the life of the screen you already own. A $129 investment can save you hundreds or even thousands down the line. The question isn't just, why would you buy an Apple TV if you already have a smart TV? The better question is, why keep relying on software that slows down, frustrates you, and becomes obsolete when you could have a device that stays powerful, smooth, and useful for years? Once you use an Apple TV daily, the difference is obvious. It's like switching from a budget phone to an iPhone. You realize how much friction you had accepted as normal, and you don't want to go back. This is only part of the story, because the Apple TV is not simply about streaming or apps. It's about creating a seamless living room hub that ties entertainment, communication, gaming, fitness, and smart home functions into one reliable box. And with the price drop in 2025, it has moved from being a luxury extra to being a surprisingly practical upgrade for almost anyone with a TV. Let's start with comparisons. The most common argument against buying an Apple TV is simple: my TV already has apps. That's true. Samsung has Tizen. LG has WebOS. Sony uses Google TV. TCL relies on Roku or Android TV. On paper, these platforms check all the boxes. They let you watch Netflix, Disney+, Prime Video, and YouTube. But the experience is rarely as smooth as it looks on the showroom floor. When you bring the TV home, connect it to your Wi-Fi, and actually live with it for months, small frustrations begin to pile up. Apps take longer to load. Menus become cluttered with ads. Updates stop arriving. Sometimes the interface just freezes, forcing you to reboot the entire TV. These may sound like minor annoyances, but when you experience them every night, they change the way you feel about your device. You stop exploring new apps. You avoid trying features. You just stick to the basics, even though your expensive smart TV promised so much more. That is the hidden weakness of built-in systems. They aren't built to last. Now, compare that to the Apple TV. When you buy one, you're essentially buying a living room computer. It's built with the same engineering standards as an iPhone. The processor NC is years ahead of what TV manufacturers are using. The software is updated consistently, year after year. And Apple designs everything with longevity in mind. That means your Apple TV feels just as fast on day 1000 as it did on day 1. If you're someone who values reliability, this difference is massive. But reliability isn't just about speed. It's also about consistency. Have you ever noticed how smart TVs often change their menus without warning? You wake up one day, and suddenly the interface is full of new ads, rearranged icons, or features you didn't ask for. Apple takes the opposite approach. TVO es fils familia. It evolves gradually, adding useful features without overwhelming you. It respects the fact that your television is part of your daily routine, and that respect builds trust. Another key point is privacy. Many people don't realize this, but most smart TVs are not free. You pay for them with your data. Manufacturers track what you watch, when you watch, and how you interact with ads. They sell this information to advertisers. That's why your TV's menu is often full of banners, recommendations, and promotions you never asked for. Apple's business model is different. The Apple TV is built around privacy. No tracking for ads. No invasive data collection. Just your content, your apps, your choices. For families, this matters. It means your kids aren't bombarded with ads every time they turn on the TV. It means your habits aren't being sold to third parties. Now let's talk about everyday use. The Apple TV isn't just about movies and shows. It's about how it fits into your life. For example, imagine you're hosting a family gathering. Instead of everyone crowding around a phone to look at vacation photos, you AirPlay them to the TV in seconds. The room lights up with full-resolution images, and suddenly everyone is part of the experience. Or picture this. You're working from home, and you need to show a presentation. With one click, your MacBook screen appears on the television, no cables required. These are the kinds of small but powerful features that make the Apple TV more than just a streamer.